You are now listening to Conscientization 101, an online magazine combining reflection, music, and action through independent media.
It's very important to be with conscious African women and men. And I'm very excited to see Conscientization 101, to see Sister Zari there and the brother James, and to see that you have started an organization to conscientize the world, especially African people, about what's really going on in this world.
Conscientization 101.
A lot of these people right now in this conscious, so-called conscious movement, they're not actually living in that lifestyle.
Fakers.
That's why, obviously yourself, we're on the same sort of frequency. That's why you're listening to the same things I'm listening to, because we're sharing that same sort of thought. We want the same sort of things, and a lot of people don't want the same sort of things. Even yourself, what you're doing now is for the people. So everything is people-based.
Globally conscientizing.
What's making me proud of what this kind of connection here is that, no matter what is said, no matter what is done, you leave listening to our music with a feeling. The same way we're going to leave this conversation with a feeling. And that is the most important thing for I and I, the vibe and the energy and the feeling that you leave with, because you might not remember every lyric, but you're going to remember the feeling. So that's really important, and that's what I'm getting from what you're doing.
Welcome to another edition of the Conscientization 101 podcast. I'm your host, Senior Editor James Stone. And before we get into this edition, we wanted to bring you back to last episode with the interview we did with our brother Mercury, because we forgot to mention it was done, like we said, it was done in January 21st, 2017, and it was cold. Remember we said, hey, Mercury was like, told us, that we say chapping over there when it get cold, and I just thought that was funny, you know what I'm saying? But then while we was putting together this interview, I was actually listening to Big Cakes, and guess what Big Cakes said?
It's still a rap ting, we're still lyrical. Won't go commercial, but we're still adapting. Still on the road and it's still cold and chapping.
There you go, chapping. There you go. Been listening to CCC for that long. Didn't know what chapping meant. But hey, thank you, RU1 Fam. Thank you, Brother Mercury. Pick up his unabridged interview in our store. Now, on to the show. So today we will be featuring excerpts from a dialogue we did with Ital Fresh. Ital Fresh consists of Sister Poppy and Iras DanJahDan of the RU1 Fam hip-hop collective, okay? Sister Poppy and Brother Iras are together. That's his better half. She's his better half. And they run this wonderful, wonderful pop-up restaurant called Ital Fresh, okay? Before we get into that, it's located in Liverpool. And I remember we never knew that Iras DanJahDan was in Liverpool. We just assumed he was in London, right? And that's about 4.5 hours away from London. Liverpool is. And so they have to meet up in the Cardiff area. That's it's like in between point. And I bring that up just to show you how hard these brothers work. I mean, they are driving like literally the distance between Houston and Dallas and still make phenomenal music, still run a dynamic business with Sister Poppy. Just great. Just brothers be working hard, you know what I'm talking about? Working hard, all right? Now, on this episode that we're featuring excerpts from, right? We were only able to speak with Brother Iras. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Sister Poppy on, but not to fret. We still got that information you need that you want to pick up on now, all right? Like I said, Ital Fresh is a street pop-up restaurant that goes all over the UK, but they're based in Liverpool, and they have Caribbean vegan street food. It's like real positive vibes. You know, your brother's RU1 Fam is positive, man. You know, sometimes, you know, you feel like you might want to bust somebody's head. Then you listen to RU1 Fam, and then you be like, damn, we are one. Let me put my head busters down. Well, sometimes, you know. But you feel me, you know what I'm saying? I be going round and round, just like the song, I Am One. There we go. But no, Ital Fresh is real positive vibes, real innovative. They do spoken word and stuff on Thursdays. You know, it's a really good restaurant, really good atmosphere. And I can't wait when we go over to the UK to have the opportunity to get some of that food, because as we were preparing for this interview, we got really hungry looking at all those beautiful pictures on Instagram, okay? All those beautiful pictures of that delicious, scrumptious, tantalizing food. Oh, man. But hold up. Let me back up and be a little bit professional, and let's see what the owners, Poppy and brother Iras DanJahDan, have to say about Ital Fresh. Now, shall we? Ital, pronounced I-tal, is a way of cooking synonymous with Rastafari, using ingredients from the earth grown naturally. Traditionally, Ital food is minimally processed and uses no animal products. Eating Ital is said to increase livity, a positive life energy in us all. Ital Fresh use the principles of Ital cooking and apply a unique, fresh twist on traditional Caribbean dishes. Creators Poppy and Dan have traveled extensively around Jamaica to bring the true taste of the Caribbean to the Baltic Triangle for you to enjoy. Eat Ital, feel Irie. All right, I couldn't have said that better myself, man. I felt Irie doing this interview. We felt Irie. You know what I'm saying? We felt so Irie, man. Now let me tell you, I want to emphasize again, these are excerpts you're about to hear, okay? And like we said, we don't feature sometimes the best part of the interview. We do the best for the edit so it'll make sense, it'll be coherent. Now, you feel me? But this unabridged interview is called African Culture Personified at its Best, a dialogue with the vi-tal, Ital Fresh. Yeah, that's gonna be off in the store. We'll tell you more about how to get that at the end. But let's get in here with Iras DanJahDan of the RU1 Fam Collective that be driving all them miles to Liverpool, Cardiff, London, putting down, showing that he got an ultimate goal with the RU1 Fam, working his magic with magical in them, you know, and they be doing all that good stuff. But I want to say, in preparing for this interview, you know, I was also listening to Sister Isis Star, and I was wondering, was she thinking about Ital Fresh when she said this?
Take me to a place where I can be free. Walk amongst the trees with a flask of green tea. Take me to a place where good company is there. The air that we breathe so clear, so clear. I just wanna live the life that I deserve. I know my worth. I owe it to myself to put me first. My body is a vessel, yes, a temple, I'm a church. I recognize the Most High, that's in Him and that's in her. Same four walls I wake up in every day. If this life is meant for living, why is it one place we stay? I just wanna see the world, same time get to know myself. Mind, body, and the spirit, I promote holistic health. It's healing time, it's healing time.
We're going to get right into this because Ital Fresh, I'm excited to have you on, because here's the good thing, ladies and gentlemen, listening audience. I'm not an Italist. I hope I said that right, brother, because I know the Rastafari don't say ism. I say Italist. I'm not an Italist, but I eat that Ital food, baby.
Yeah, we'll eat
it. This is the hardest.
Good food, you know?
Yeah, it's good food. I know, because I can taste the juiciness of the herbs and spices just from the pictures. Oh, my goodness. I was like, every every time we was researching for this,
I know.
it just kept making us hungry. It was like, damn, man. I was like at the happy hunting ground.
We were like, oh, that look good. Oh, that look good.
You know what I'm saying? Let me get to the first question because I'm getting too excited because I'm hungry now. Shoot. Anyway, today we want to start our discussion, Brother Iras, by reading a quote from Ngugi wa Thiong'o's book, Moving the Center, The Struggle for Cultural Freedom. All right, I'm going to start off with a quote, and Ngugi says, "For if the struggle to shift the base from which to view the world from its narrow base in Europe to a multiplicity of centers was reflected in the new literatures from Asia, Africa, and South America, it was not similarly reflected in the critical and academic institutions in the newly independent countries, or in Europe for that matter. The study of the humanities meant literally the humanity contained in the canonized tradition of European critical and imaginative literature, and further confined within the linguistic boundaries of each of the colonizing nations." Okay, now we wanted to point out this quote from Ngugi. We wanted to point out this quote from Ngugi is because he's analyzing how our quote-unquote independent institutions generally have not considered the particular characteristics of African culture, but have continued to operate on the basis of a European center with European, and with European dominance, we're conditioned to believe that the particular history of Europe is the history of the world. And when we look at Ital Fresh, we see an establishment that was built and has a foundation on an African center, which was reflected in the name Ital Fresh. You could have called it Vegan Fresh, right? What would you say? Would you say this was one of the bases of why you and Sister Poppy created Ital Fresh to kind of shift the center and like kind of what Ngugi's talking about?
Yeah, that's a serious quote, man, and good question as well. Literally, like we're in Europe, we're here in England, in Europe, and yeah, like you're saying, everything is something. Well, the majority is from a European mindset, or even the food we eat is going to be European based, and this is for us, this is for all, just like you say, like a test. What's that quote with the test with you can't judge an elephant, can't give the same test to an elephant as you can to a tiger, you know, 'cause they're different.
True that.
Different animals, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's right, man, because it's not enough. I was gonna say there is some African foods and places you can go to, but with regards to Ital foods, there's not a lot there you can go and get that's really accessible. So we wanted to be there for people like us that can go and get good foods in that's prepared and cooked in our way, in our cultural ways, as we know, because you can't get that everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we wanted to have something there for us and our people that's something that they're used to, really. Because like you said, we could have called it Vegan Fresh, but we wanted to have our have a bit of our culture and our tradition, also have that on display for people to come and celebrate that as well. And so things can grow from that. Like culturally, culturally we eat together and we discuss things together and we grow as a family together. We want these sort of principles as well put into our way of life in our institutions, so it could be more reflective of the people that we are.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to ask. Go ahead.
Now, if that answers the question,
no, that
really,
makes
perfect sense. I want to ask. Could you explain also, because Ital, explain to the people what Ital is, because just because it was our culture in Jamaica, right? And people need to stop getting it twisted, because one of the things colonialism does, it defines a phenomenon for you. So we tend to conceive of African as having to be on the continent. You know, having that's why you see the invasion of Egypt, Morocco, or Mauritania with all those Arabs up there, and you don't see the fact that they're Arabs. You want to say, oh, they're Africans. Well, no, they're Arabs in Africa, okay? And what I mean by that, I'm saying all this to say this, that like, Ital is African. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might have like came out in Jamaica, just like Africans in America is African. You know what I'm saying? And so, how long has Ital Fresh been around? And explain to the people what it actually Ital is, because I don't even say vegan no more. I just say Ital now.
Ital, yeah. So Ital foods like comes from like the word like vital. You usually hear the saying Ital is vital.
Yes.
So it's like it's vital foods for us. It's natural foods, plant-based foods, usually that self-sustainability, should be growing your own produce, organic foods, and using these foods with natural spices and ingredients, traditionally it's no salt, so no table salt. So we don't use that white salt, and that if we use salt, it's like Himalayan salt or special kind of sea salt. And if we use any, and so Ital food, like it's identify the Rastafari culture. So it's growing up eating natural foods, being one with nature and eating sun ripened foods from picking off the trees and just being one with the earth, connecting with the soil, seeing something grow and then picking that when it's ready and cooking that and eating that. And it stems, there's all different like branches. There's some like Rastafarians have Ital foods, and they might have fish in their diet. They might eat some fish, and there might be a fisherman. But we stick with the food on Earth, that the planet food and the greens and thing and fruits and vegetables. But so there's different divisions in that. But like you're saying, because even with Rasta, it's about knowing your roots and going back to learning where you're from, overcoming the oppressed state that we're in, fighting Babylon, and all this here is something that you do within ourselves as well to overcome what's out of ourselves, you know. So the food that we put in will be good for us, and we'll be able to have a good vibes, not eating negative foods, that flesh foods that has been in a concentration camps, you know what I mean? Certain animals that we get fed here, the majority of the public and that. So we're staying away from that. And like you're saying, it does stem from Africa, because these diets would have come from the ancient kingdoms, from Kush and Kemet, and like you would have to follow certain diets to be, if you wanted to progress spiritually and ascend on different planes and levels, like certain diets you'll follow in order to get there, you know? So that, and these diets and traditions have been spread out through Africa and traveled over to South America, the Caribbean, the Americas, and things like that. So like even in the slave trade in Jamaica, ackee is very big. Ackee and saltfish is the national dish, but ackee came over from Ghana with the Africans, the captives. They would have brought over ackee to Jamaica because that's what they know, you know. So it's that you're keeping hold of these things and having like a fresh for us with Ital Fresh, bring back to Ital Fresh. So it's going back to the root and finding out the foods that we ate, what goes with what, and things like this, and putting a fresh take on it, a modern spin on it in these times, and using some of the knowledge that we've gathered over the years as people, and just putting that together and having a fresh take on good, nutritious food. So that's what we're doing now. Excuse me. And we've been doing it for a couple of years now. 2017 now. I think we started doing in end of 2015 where we so it's kind of
it's grown
rocketed.
fast. Yeah,
it's grown fast because we started doing supper clubs. So we weren't strictly concentrating on Caribbean foods as well, but we did supper clubs once or two times a month. Get a group of 10, 12 people to come and have like a 5-course meal with us. And we'll have foods of the world. So we'll get foods of the world and like italize it. So we'd have a Pan-Asian night. We had a North African night. We had a couple Caribbean nights, and I think that and we had a couple other nights. We did about 6 nights or so. And then in the beginning of 2016, we just got a couple opportunities. They had a couple of press releases on us and things. And that's when we managed to get into District 1, that club with, and we started doing street food and food truck. And we had our reggae cookouts. And it's just grown from then. And it's just, just give thanks really for the speed of the growth and the opportunities that we've had.
I wanted to add this. I really like, I would like, it's funny because Zara and I was talking about this. It's kind of funny how like when you look around in the world, you know, they always trying to focus in on negativity stuff and stuff like that, but especially with dealing with our people. And, you know, looking at like you and Poppy, you know what I'm saying? It gives like inspiration, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, in order to do what you guys do, you have to like know thyself, at the same time have enough integrity and deal with many different type of people, you know, to get your business and make sure it's successful. And that's a part of micro, you know, nationalism that needs to be extrapolated out to the whole. And a lot of people always say, well, let's do it big. Let's go do this. Let's take a pragmatic approach. Let's see how you run your institutions like that. And another thing I really like about Ital Fresh, before we go into the next question, I just had to say this because, like, you know, I'm from Austin, Texas, right? Austin, Texas is the home of Whole Foods, right? And and I was born in '78, right? So Whole Foods was born. Don't care about telling my age. I'm happy I made it this long, shit. And Whole Foods came about in '80. So Whole Foods was always there growing up as a kid in Austin. And for those, I know Africans that down here, my kinfolk them, y'all know, and people who don't know, I'm just saying this around the world, Austin is a liberal, racist hotbed.
It is.
My first understanding, I would say contact of what a Rastafari was like a white person who wears a Bob Marley shirt, who gets high, and they always talking about Africa, right? Mm-hmm. And they talk, and it was, and then they don't want no black
Austin
people around.
Austin is known for doing stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really like that. And I want to say the reason I'm bringing all this up is because growing up, I'm pretty sure it's all over the African world, where we are. Growing up, like to eat vegetarian or eat healthy was seen as a white thing because we eat soul food, slave food, right? And so they would be like, what you doing eating vegetables? That's some white folk shit, right? Meanwhile, in Austin, Whole Foods people is sitting up here, they saying they got the lock on Africa and they're the healthiest, they smell the best and all this other stuff. And, and now it's kind of funny, you see a lot of people trying to gravitate towards like trends in terms of healthy stuff, but it's still, I'm saying our people in general, but it's not because of a love of health, so to speak. I think Dead Prayers actually put it on the map, and they did it for good reasons. But I'm talking about other people are getting on the vegan. They're calling it vegan trends, not knowing the roots that we got italist stuff in our own history. You know what I'm saying? We only want to accept it or accept religion, just like we had mentioned earlier in the BBC. We want to talk about medicine when it's the Hippocrates. Right. We don't want to talk about it when it's Imhotep. Exactly. But when you see Ital Fresh, you and Sister Poppy making it really plain that, like, look, we can just like Sister Baina Bella said, we sent that video to you, you saw it, and Sister Baina said, hey, if you got that chair, just because, they take your stuff all the time and then sell it back to you, but if you see how or if they got a gun, see how they make the gun and make it good for you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like how y'all say y'all are innovative and you innovating on those dishes. And what do we tell people to do before we go on to the next question? We tell you, go to that website, go to Instagram. We're going to have it all in the interview so y'all can link to it. You can see some of that innovators that's going to make you mouth-watering hungry like I am now. I need to take a drink of water. I'm so hungry.
If you're lucky enough to be able to go because I know I wish we could.
We're going to go. We're going to be there. We're going to be there before I turn 40. We're going to go.
Yeah, man, you have to come, man, still. Definitely. No, but yeah, man, come, everybody. Check it. We've got some good dishes for true.
Running a food spot or a restaurant does not look easy. Okay, it doesn't look easy. I don't know why anybody think it would. I've heard people say that, but it doesn't look easy at all to me. And so we just wanted to know, like, what have been some of the challenges, and the rewards of, like he said, interacting with people, different vendors, building relationships with vendors and, customers. I know, well, I don't know, but I wonder, do y'all use like farmers markets, or do you go straight to certain people who produce the fruits and the vegetables and all that? Like, what have been some of the challenges in running the, and all that
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard business. It is rewarding as well, but it is a lot. You have to be lubricated to it, and just be on it. So, like, it's good that me and my girlfriend do it together. So we have each other, but it is still can be hard. Like, different challenges for different things, because we're like a street food. We're on the go. It's so like where we do pop-ups. So we have like a place called District in Liverpool in a creative area called the Baltic Triangles, kind of where it's like popular in the area. There's a warehouse, like club, where we have pop-ups there. Basically, we're able to use the venue, and so just get even just promotion. Sometimes letting people knowing that you're there in the area. That could be challenging sometimes if other things are on, and just letting people knowing that where you are, really, and that can sometimes be challenging. Or we're letting people know where you're going. So just in the local district, that internet and social media does help though, to be honest. But that sometimes we have different suppliers. We have we use that organic produce, some local where we can, and what's in season. But that's a good challenge. That my girlfriend's very creative as well. She has like a cooking background, a bit more professionally, more so than me, and she's good at creating things. Like if there's that pumpkins in season, or there's something that's in season and something that's in season, and there's a lot of. She's good at thinking, we're going to do this, we're going to do that with it. And it's a good challenge with regards to creating things for the menu to keep it lively and get people's attention. So that's a healthy, good challenge. And so sometimes just deciding what sort of festival or food market you want to go to for like to sell food. So you have to judge, because we are a niche. It is growing, like plant-based foods, vegan foods. It is growing very big, but in some places you have to be you have to know like where you're gonna go. You have to think, are we gonna do well in certain places? Because sometimes
exactly.
Somewhere there might be too many vegan foods that's going to be there on offer, or there might be a place where you just think this place here, they just want chicken and chips. It's not gonna they're not gonna come for us. So we have to pick out the right things for that as well. So the rewards, good rewards, you've got to give thanks. We've had some good support in that over the last year. There's a couple we've had a couple good bloggers come and give reviews and that, and they've come across good, which has led to good opportunities. One good thing about Liverpool as well, it's a little good community, and you can meet creative people, and people are friendly, so you can collab. We've done some good collabs with other people, done supper clubs with other people. We've done music nights with people and little mini festivals. So it's good rewards to build up our business links and that, and our database and fan base. We've had some. We've really like in some newspapers. We've been like top 5 destination in Liverpool and things like this. And it's really that was a really good one. And that like certain foods have been like, go check out the jerk pork belly mushrooms in Ital Fresh, things like that. So it's really good. And Yeah, just working for ourselves, independent. That's the reward. Working for ourselves. We're our own bosses. You know, black-owned business, doing good, and we have our freedom and creativity. That we have no limits, sort of thing. There's no one can say, you can't do that, and that we can do what we want to do, and we don't have to sort of submit to anything, to anyone's, because we have our principles and we like Rastafari and things like that, and our spirituality, and we have this with our food, and it's like it's natural foods, and we don't like mess about, you know what I mean? And so we don't have to, someone offers us a job and be like, oh yeah, but we want you to add this or that. We could just say, no, we're not adding this and that. It's like this, or it's not like that. You know what I mean? So we don't have to, don't have to submit to anyone like that or give in.
Oh yeah.
And so that's cool.
Yes, we know what you mean.
You know exactly what you mean, because like dealing with vendors, and if you are, you know, here's the thing. What I like about because like, you know, like they say, real recognize real, and we just get insights from you. You go out, you all, because like it's funny because I was reading. I was looking at this Amos Wilson video, and he was like saying like pretty much, you know, we need black businesses, but everybody's not a business owner. I think that's a fact that needs to be reiterated, because one of the things when I look at Ital Fresh, right, I look and see on Instagram and on how y'all put everything together from the menu to the marketing, and I see the Ital is fresh. Do you feel me?
It's very, very professional.
It's very professional. And what I mean by that is this. I remember I just finished rereading Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. And at the end of the book, he talks about one of the problems we as African people have is that, you know, we give each other real bad service. We talk crazy to each other. I do a little real estate things and stuff. And, you know, I've had dealings with different black real estate agents to talk to you like they your son, they son, and talk crazy to you and stuff like that. Not saying that other people haven't done that, but it just seems a little bit more lax and less professional. Yeah. Like depending on, hey, brother man, or brother man with just, you know, as opposed to just keeping it quality and professional. Like basically what I'm saying is this: a basis of a nation is how strong and the integrity of its institutions. I want to I want to see Garvey Medical Hospital, and I want to see the strength of that can compete with something called Methodist or Jesus Christ, Lord Savior Bread and Breakfast, or whatever they go call their hospital. And you got to have a certain level of professionalism. And when I say a certain level of professionalism, that doesn't mean you compromising integrity like you were saying, but you treat all people, because you want the dollars. You treat all people with respect without having to compromise who you are, and not having to say when you don't have quality, say, oh, well, I'm black. Brother, I'm black. Well, hey, man, look, if I need a triple bypass done because I haven't been eating Ital, man, I can't rely on the fact that you just a black surgeon, brother. You know, exactly. I need some quality shit. You know, you're going to scalpel my ass and kill me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys, I know being in England and Europe, you have to deal with a lot of obstacles that other business people don't have to deal with. First of all, you're African, and you know you're African. Oh, God, you're not Negroes. So that's tough. But you still got to, you know, people might come, you know, like, for instance, people might, a white person or somebody else, a non-African, or even Negroes, right, might approach you in a way, then they be like, oh, I never thought you would speak like this, or like, you're so, you know, just, you know, because it's a level of professionalism, and it's a level of knowing how to get your business done and still maintaining your integrity that I don't see with a lot of people that are trying to say, oh, black business. You know, promote that, but promote the quality of your product, right? And make it so nobody can deny it. Because when I'm like I said, listen, audience, I'm not an Ital person or whatever, but I would be grubbing up in this motherfucker every day if I was over there. Because the food just looked delicious, and, you know, I don't care.
That's it, man. It's true. I agree with what you're saying.
And sometimes you'll have a black business, and they'll try to sell you things you don't really need. And then they'll try to rely on this is a black business. I had somebody tell me, that's what's wrong with black people. We don't support each other. But she was selling something that I didn't need, you know? Yeah. But then she commences to insult me.
Right, yeah. How do you insult somebody, right?
You know, so that's the kind of things that we do. We shouldn't do to each other. If anything, we should have more integrity with each other. You know.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yes. So we were looking at your website, and you know you have a link to the BBC interview that you did, where you talked about the origin of the name Ital Fresh, and you both noted that you wanted to bring, and I'm quoting here, bring a fresh, modern approach to the Ital philosophy of natural foods. And when we read about that, the first thing that we thought about was Chinwezu's The West and the Rest of Us, and where he discusses the importance of creating a distinct African modernity, you know, because a lot of times modernity is associated with Europe, you know, modern, you know, innovation and all that stuff. The times we're in now is associated with Europe. And he talks about his central theme is to stress the importance of creating a modernity that challenges that idea that Europe is modernity. You know, Europe is modern. And I'm going to quote where he says, "The issue of an African artistic renaissance is one of revitalizing the tradition. For our Western-oriented minds, it is one of homecoming. And the issue of homecoming is that of giving primacy to the African experience, past and present, in African artistic endeavors. The distinction between an African modernity and a Western modernity imported to and aped in Africa must be emphasized in every field: music, literature, painting, sculpture, architecture, design, manners, cuisine."
Yep.
Name it. Those Europhilic Africans who deny African traditions and traditional Africa a controlling place in their consciousness have no alternative but to formulate African modernity in Western bourgeois terms, and that is unacceptable. So in light of his analysis, you know, we see that Ital Fresh is doing just that. That's what we've been talking about. Can you talk more about like how you developed the cuisine? You kind of touched on it, but, you know, more about how you develop it. I know, like we've been talking about that. Poppy said that y'all wanted to make it modern, y'all wanted to make it innovative. You know,
Yeah.
so you know,
outside of the traditional
right,
one pot stews and soups, I found
is
that to
what
be
you-
real interesting.
yeah,
too.
because you get that a lot here. You know, where it won't be like unique. It will be just one pot stews.
Let me put it like this: your images of your food look real exciting,
right?
They look real like, oh man, I want to be there, you know. And it looks, you know, it feels like, you know, Africa's in the future. We already got the continent on lock. We can be everywhere in the world, and if anybody touches, we shoot them with that African laser beam. Boom, boom, motherfucker.
Give thanks, man. But just like you're saying, like with traditionally a lot of one pot stews and that, like what we're saying, but there's such a big wide scope of fruits and vegetables that's growing in the Caribbean and in Africa and in exotic places where we are, you know. And so it's that. So we take these ingredients. So that I'm trying to think of example. So say that just for instance, pumpkin, for instance. So we might take pumpkin instead of just putting it in the one pot stew. We just think of other ways to be creative with it. So we have like different like pumpkin dice and maybe some pumpkin sort of. Well, we had a really good one that we had was we made a pumpkin cheesecake with which was really good with a ginger biscuit bottom. Man.
How do you make cheesecake? How do you make an Ital cheesecake?
An Ital cheesecake, you know.
You can't eat cheese.
Yeah, no cheese.
Yeah, he said he can't tell.
I know you can't tell me.
He
I'm
can't
just
tell the
baffled.
secrets, man.
I know. I'm just
What's
baffled.
wrong with you? Be baffled. We'll talk about that off air.
Sorry, go ahead.
So it's like just taking traditions forward, bringing traditions forward, bringing our culture forward, like into like 2017, a bit of fresh takes on traditional things that we're saying, modern techniques that we use, that we have modern equipment as well, like blenders and mixers and different things that we can create with. So it's just, so we just take classic foods and add a Caribbean. So even classic foods from around the world, we might add a Caribbean twist on it to elevate it. If we think so, if we think it needs elevating, really, yeah. But yeah, like even like that quote, it's a serious quote. Like we need like saying everything modern is European sort of thing. He's saying that all gets put in European context. Like even when talking about in ancient times, we know this because of Herodotus and it's I can never say his name.
No, I can't say it either. Hippocrates.
There you go.
Hippocrates and that. So it's like, so we're just like strong in our side, as well. Like, so that, no, it's not Hippocrates, it's Imhotep, the original, and we have our own scholars that we draw from, and we have our own history that we put out there, and we need to put that out there, because coming to Ital Fresh it's not just about the cuisine and that. We have our music playing. We have more time reggae and cultural music playing. We have arts and we have spoken word events and things. So we tried to promote art, culture and a holistic lifestyle and these things that just help us connect and just be positive in these times and move forward. So, and the food is at the center of that. So, because we have our night, we call it food for thought. So it's like we have food for the body, food for the soul, and also food for the mind. So we put it all together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Until you hear this, recordings get recorded where the ear is. Brand Nubians, grown up within the mind, there's still a boy, no jokes. We redefine the real McCoy. Turn off your telly and get ready for the hot grammar. I lost manner, can't express it in a soft manner. So what's good, and don't lie because we need to know. Fight fire with fire, will you see your smoke? And so you should.
Rhymes that I record are rawer than my Rizzler. Life is a rat race, I wish that it was simpler. Gas price is high, we're coming into winter. Some nights I cry, sometime I got a temper. Knowledge of self, of rights I'm a defender. Third eye comes first, I can spot a pretender. What is life worth, we're making them remember. Aligning chakras, balancing my center.
Call me the rising sun, I've been blazing since time begun. I've had chances blown in the wind, I'll be the last one laughing. I'm molded to win within my golden skin, protect the throne of our king. The soldiers of love are not open to sin. We hold too many emotions within, must focus on one, then peace will begin.
I ain't got time for the games or time for emotions, time for the hate or time for the joke ting. It's time for business, time for promotion, time that we rise up, time to be focused, time that we stand up, time to be noticed. World on our shoulders, but we're still managing. Life ain't easy, every day's challenging. That's why we grind hard, cause they're trying to balance it. Spiritually, you can't harbour this industry. I know subliminally they're masters of imagery, but it ain't a thing to me. I clash with titans, I ain't fooled by advertisements. I act with guidance, I have a license to have you tyrants badly frightened. I stand defiance, I kill that noise and practice silence. Hand appliance, now you can do that maths and science. This is for them slaves in the field like dandelions.
Money's not the motive, music's in my DNA. I get never voted, don't believe a thing they say. Lies are sugar coated, but sour like a lime. Corruption's a result of lies they're telling all the time. I don't follow fashion, I don't read the news. We're all taking action, tightening the screws. Freedom is the caption, no faking in the booth. Fire after blaze, we're raising up the youth.
I have an ultimate goal, I paint the picture all over the globe. So if my soul roams, it knows where to go. Follow the shining light, no yellow brick road. Words to be deciphered, deliver the code. Wisdom is worth more than silver and gold. Listen to earth, her secrets are shown. Know your worth before you fly away home.
Not just a lyricist, Hunter Pro is a poet. Talking about the things that I've seen and what I'm knowing. It all started off with planting the seed and now it's growing. Till the whole family tree, read what we're sowing. Thinking that you got what it takes, you better know it. Cause actions speak louder than words, you gotta show it. I'll be floating off the weed that I'm smoking, trying to keep it all in motion, goes deep as an ocean.
Two hands are better than one. One hand is better than none. I give thanks for the rest in my lungs. Be positive.
We got the family, you know.
No, I don't wanna walk with a gun. I just wanna sing my song. I know the skies are grey sometimes, but I'm gonna wait for the sun and give thanks for the sun. Vibes and pressure, family. One hand is better than I am one. I give thanks for the breath in my lungs. I am one. Be positive and the battle is I am one.
Big up on just this one, flex this one.
I just wanna sing my song.
Stand the
I know
fire.
the skies are grey sometimes, but I'm gonna wait for the sun. I give thanks for the sun.
More of it.
You know, it's just forward movement, you know.
The fire blazing.
Yeah, man, it's the time of fire.
Positive energy activates constant
Elevation. Positive energy activates constant
elevation.
We'd actually have visited two different black-owned restaurants, you know, and one was a quote-unquote traditional Jamaican food, quote-unquote. Another was a vegan restaurant, you know, and which was just that, like we said, a vegan restaurant. And the atmosphere, it's funny, you just mentioned the overall atmosphere of Ital Fresh, right? It's like a national vibe. You know, you go in there, you hear the music, spoken word. And it was just, you know, the atmosphere of these restaurants I'm mentioning was just that. Restaurants that were very culturally neutral. When I say culturally neutral, that means it's going to default to the dominant culture, which is Western culture, right? That gives itself and makes itself seem like it's the universal culture of all human beings, which is not. It was like a black vegan restaurant, and they had a black bean burger. So, and my thing is, when I go to a black quote unquote vegan or whatever restaurant, I don't want no damn black bean burger, man. If I want a burger, I'm gonna go get me a burger. I want some innovative stuff. I want some of that cheesecake y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? I want some of that pumpkin that ain't in that stew. I want some pumpkin, whatever y'all got off in that thing that I want to eat.
Right.
And so, and we went to the Jamaican restaurant, and then it was kind of like, if I go to a Jamaican restaurant, I want y'all to be like, Juan, African from the United States, what's up, dog? And we gonna get on it, and we gonna talk about the fighting Maroons, not the treating Maroons, and then you gonna give me some of that jerk chicken or whatever you got. I don't want it to be neutral, and you teach me like, hello, how you doing? Hello, how's it going over there? Cheerio. It's like, wait a minute, man, I thought this was Jamaican. Well, you know, Jamaica was colonized by the British.
I'm a British loyalist.
Oh, yes, I'm a loyalist. Oh, yes. Oh, get rid of those Mau in Jamaica. Right? You know, but it's a stark contrast from what we see in Ital Fresh, because one of the reasons, and we learned about Ital Fresh because, you know, we learned about you from RU1 Fam, you know what I'm saying? Happy 100 grand, you know what I'm talking about? Call you the rising, because like you said, you got an ultimate goal. I do too. And RU1 Fam, which is explicitly African-centered hip-hop collectives. And it's obvious that both you and Poppy have knowledge of the African origins of Ital. And so the question I want to ask you is, can you talk about, and this is important I want the listener audience to tune in on this, because a lot of times when I was studying, as you know, people you derisively say, I was into the black stuff. I was into the black stuff like some kind of way I ain't no African, but I'm into black. What stuff should I be into?
Yes, exactly.
But I was into the black stuff. You ain't going nowhere with no black stuff. Yeah, shit, I'm going to be alive and you going to be into that. Never mind. Okay, I digress. But y'all, because it seems like you were directly into the black stuff, you guys have a successful business. So I want to encourage people, when these hating Negroes, don't worry about the white folks, they do what they do. But when you got your peers and these hating Negroes try to tell you to pull out the red, white, and blue, and you should be pulling out the red, black, green, but you say, you ain't gonna get none out of it. I want you look at Ital Fresh and look at them fresh meals, and you're gonna get hungry. And I want to know how the knowledge of your people, our people all over the world has helped you build this beautiful institution of culture and food. Oh Lord, yes. And just like you had to tell the BBC interview, you said, yes, that's right. Imhotep, father. How does your culture help build the business? Tell the people, do not deracinate yourself from your culture, because you can be Ital Fresh too. Tell him, Iras.
Yes, I. Well, yeah. Well, like you're saying, the give thanks that me and Poppy we both know ourselves. You know, we know ourselves, and we're studies of the world, students of the world, students of knowledge. You know, students of right and wrong, and students of our roots as well. So that's how we live. We live our lives just excuse me, with the knowledge we know, and we put that forward in today's society, you know, because as we're living in these oppressed systems, we have to just let them know that that's not going to go on, you know. We're not going to back down. We're not going to bend down to our knees or nothing. We're going to stand firm and be proud of who we are, proud that we're African and we're African centered, and this is us, you know. So, but we so just being like that has helped our business in a way, because we want to promote that to our people, so that people can see that and think, oh, I don't have to give in to anything. I can be black and proud and do what I want to do, and tell people, well, this is a black-owned business, and still have and still be, like you're saying, have that professionalism and be like, this is our services, this is what we do.
Yes,
we're here for trade. You know what I mean? As same as everyone else, and just from that, just from our culture, our vibes are always going to be good. You know, good. That so we with food, it's like I said before, we eat as a family and that. So we do food, and we have. Majority of the times it's family vibes. We get a lot of families come down, like mums with their kids, parents with their little ones, and that as well in the daytimes, and enjoying the culture of music about, have conversations, talk about where we're from and where the food's from and the originations, talk about Rasta and whatnot. So we're always putting it out there, and it doesn't take anything from us. Some people think I can't do that because I'll lose customers, or people won't come to me. They won't see me as take me seriously. But if anything, it's just going to put you further up there.
Yes,
I think, and it'll put you because you're more integrity. Yeah, more integrity. You're standing firm in yourself, and you're going to be attracting good things.
That's true.
Yeah, so yeah, and it will help, and it will help within your community as well. Just even without you knowing, it will help. Yeah, so yeah.
I was going to add that one thing too, that when you are centered in who you are, you will avoid a lot of roadblocks and a lot of bad mistakes. Because you know you have a clear path. You're not kind of just like, I've seen like people how to start a business, or the best business to start, and it's like they just want to start a business just to make money. It's not any goal. There's no real like plan. It's just, I want to start a business, so let me figure out what kind. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not really a sincere desire to start anything based on understanding of who you are, what you know your people need to do, and things like that. And so I know in our experience, because we do know who we are and we do know our goals and we know our interests, it's a lot of roadblocks that we avoided, that a lot of that you can stumble on if you don't know your goals, and you don't know what you need to do as a people, as a group, macro and micro. So I agree.
Yeah, I also wanted to add to what you said, Iras, about what other people get told that don't be yourself because you lose customers.
Yes.
What other people get told that? I was reading, there's a book on the C101. You know what I'm saying? In the C101 library, Blueprint for Black Power by Amos Wilson. And he's specifically talking about black businesses. When did we come to accept the term that if we say we are black and stuff like that, that you're going to have to take less quality? It's all about how you carry yourself. And if you are African and you carry yourself with dignity, you can deal with anybody. I'm not trying to hide in the world and say, oh, I see white folks, I'm going to go and just hang out and be the black. And I'm not going to go off in no Bantustan, okay, that they create. I'm going to go deal with everybody. I'm going to get this dollar. But you ain't going to, I'm not going to prostitute myself. And I know who I am. And here's the thing. Think about it like this. Would you go to a Chinese restaurant if they didn't have some Chinese writing on it?
Exactly.
But some kind of way, we as black people think if we say, don't talk about color, I'm neutral, I don't see color, that the world don't see color. And you know what I'm saying? If I see an Ital, sometimes we'll go buy Ital from a white person and won't go buy it from the African, talking about, well, it's a little more Ital-y with them. And basically my whole point is this. When you have a business, like you said, Negroes have all kind of like formulas. You see, if you say black too much, if you're bald-headed, you're scared of white folks away. You see, that's why you're never going to be successful. I've heard some crazy stuff, bro.
Maybe you should get smaller so you won't be so big.
I heard people tell me when I graduated, well, you kind of swole, you're going to intimidate interviewers. Well, if I'm going to intimidate you, I'm going to stay intimidated because you ain't going to, hey, ain't no skinny jeans around here. So I don't play that no way. Okay, so you better run on with all that. So hey, I want you to feel intimidated, okay? But my point is this, like you said, you can still be yourself, deal with people and all people of respect from us, and being a successful black person and being a successful black business, in an African nation does not mean you don't have to go on the microphone or whatever, get on the soapbox disrespecting people. It's how you act. It's how you walk. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you treat yourself. You see, a lot of the problems we have as a people is not because necessarily that the white folks doing it to us. And what I mean by this, the white folks is doing it to us. But here's the thing. If we loved each other and protect each other, when nobody do nothing to us.
That's exactly
you see what I'm saying? But what do? We retreat. Oh, you want an Ital business? Don't be Ital. Be Queen Elizabeth. She vi-tal. That's what they're going to tell you to do. Be the queen. She vi-tal. Right? But you say, no, man. I can still run a good, successful business, be who I am, deal with different types of people, and get the dollar. And they go, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. But, it's no disrespect. Right. You feel me?
That's like going back to earlier when you're even talking about like challenges. That's another like a challenge as well. Because you have to, because even like doing a business, like we were saying, it's good to know yourself. Like, you should do something. Don't just do any sort of business. You should do something that you love, and you should also have like micro and macro like goals. You know what I mean? Have goals and know what you want to do and know where you're going to. Because whatever you do, when you do start doing it well, people are just gonna. Everyone's got ideas, innit? Everyone's gonna try and derail you or think they're helping you. And be like, oh, you instead of doing that, you should do this.
Oh,
or
yes.
You should try it this way.
Yeah.
But these people are not in the same industry. Haven't tried anything themselves. But everyone's got ideas. So it's just staying firm to yourself, knowing that this is my goal. It's how I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean? Rather than changing the goalpost, but maybe, you know what I mean? Trying different things. Think, maybe she's right. Let me try this thing, or let me go to that festival, and you know what I mean. Just know your goals and go for them, and don't be swayed by people's opinions, and suggestions if they're not really gonna benefit you. So that's another challenge as well.
All right, now after listening to that, we know you want to take Big Cakes' advice.
I swear, we need to sharpen our hair and start eating right and stop farting out here.
Thank you, Big Cakes. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this was just an excerpt, but if you want to listen to this complete unabridged interview entitled African Culture Personified at Its Best, a dialogue with the vi-tal, Ital Fresh, all you have to do is go to our store at shop.conscientization101.com. That is shop.conscientization.com. And there you will have access not only to this particular interview, but to all of C101's unabridged interviews, musical commentaries, and merchandise. And you will be supporting 100% independent media. Yeah, y'all need to get them musical commentaries. I'm putting it down. with the analysis. All right. Now, this episode has featured sounds from
Logic and Last Resort, Life's a Hustle, from their album, True Talk, the instrumentals. Big Cakes, Consciously Cock-Blocking Cakes, from his album, CCC. Isis Star, Take Me There, from her album, Cream. Knowledge rules everything around me. RU1 Fam, Round and Round, from their EP, I Am One. And Big Cakes featuring Rago Zulu Rebel, Uprising, from his album, Blue Cheese. Yeah, I don't want to say that, right? We wanted to thank Ital Fresh for taking their time to dialogue with us. And for more on Ital Fresh, check their YouTube channel, Ital Fresh, on Facebook, at Ital Fresh, on Instagram, at Ital Fresh HQ, and their website, italfreshhq.com. Also, their hours of operation is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 to 3. And then they reopen again from 5 to 9. Thursday, 12 to 3. Then they reopen again till 5 to 11. And that's where they have that spoken word and open mic night. All right? When Sister Zara and I go over there, I'm gonna be spitting it, putting it down on the mic. All right? I got an ultimate goal. I'm gonna be all over the globe. Anyway, and on Saturday from 3 to 9. Okay, that's the hours of operation. Go to their website for more information so you can be up to date. Links for the featured music and Ital Fresh social media and website are available in our show notes. We want to encourage you to visit us on our website at conscientization101.com or c101magazine.com. Also, don't forget about us on Twitter at Conscien1, that's CONSCIEN1, on Facebook at Conscientization101, and Instagram at C101 Editors. Also, when you're at the site, don't forget to sign up to our mailing list. You get exclusive content only available to subscribers when you sign up. Our subscribers know this. And again, thank you to Iras DanJahDan, Sister Poppy, for making the Ital so fresh and the best. Y'all get that unabridged interview. RU1 Fam Collective. C101. Guess what? We out.